Have you ever refreshed your banking app and wondered if you've been enrolled in a Broke Life Premium subscription? You know the feeling. You're working hard, staying disciplined, and doing everything right. Yet that six-figure savings goal feels as mythical as a unicorn. Here's the truth. Reaching your first $100,000 isn't a fantasy reserved for trust fund heirs or lucky crypto gamblers. Once you master the psychology of wealth and deploy the right mechanics, that milestone arrives much faster than you'd expect. This isn't just a number. It's the tipping point. It is the moment your money starts working harder than a LinkedIn hustle culture influencer. After $100,000, compound interest becomes your primary engine, and the second $100,000 arrives with half the effort. I'm Ned, and I've spent years dissecting personal finance to help people shatter the ceiling of financial mediocrity. If you're ready for practical, high-impact strategies that actually move the needle, subscribe and hit the like button. What we're discussing today is the difference between a comfortable retirement and surviving on ramen in your 70s. Before we dive in, let's look at the reality of the situation. Most people treat saving like a New Year's resolution at the gym. High energy in January, but by March, life happens and they're back to square one. The issue isn't willpower. It's that they are fighting an uphill battle with the wrong equipment. Imagine trying to fill a bucket that is riddled with holes. You can pour in all the water you want, but the result is always zero. This is the average financial life working hard for a paycheck while leaking wealth through unoptimized systems. They're trying to solve a complex math problem with crayons when they need a calculator. The wealthy understand what the middle class misses. Building wealth isn't about becoming a monk or making agonizing sacrifices. It's about strategic decisions that compound. Every dollar saved today is several dollars in the future, but you have to be surgical about it. The average person thinks wealth is built by skipping a daily latte or avoiding avocado toast. While small habits matter, focusing solely on them is missing the forest for the trees. The real wealth is found in the big-ticket items and the automated systems that free up hundreds or even thousands of dollars every month without making you feel like you're in financial prison. In this video, I'm walking you through the comprehensive system to hit $100,000 faster than you ever thought possible. We'll cover the psychological traps that keep you stuck and the tactical moves the wealthy use to accelerate their savings. I'll even reveal that one specific strategy that frees up a massive chunk of your budget, something so effective you'll wonder why it's not common knowledge. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. Why is the first $100,000 so much harder than everything that follows? It's not just about the math of compound interest, though. That's a huge factor. When you're starting out, you are doing all the heavy lifting. Every single dollar in your account is a direct result of your manual labor, your paycheck, your side hustle, or your business. You are essentially building the foundation of your financial house brick by brick. However, once you cross that $100,000 threshold, the physics of your finances change. Your money begins to generate meaningful momentum. Instead of seeing a few cents in interest, you start seeing hundreds or thousands of dollars in growth. That 10% annual return, which felt like pocket change on a $5,000 portfolio, now represents a $10,000 gain on your $100,000 nest egg. Suddenly, your capital is working nearly as hard as you are. This is exactly why Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's late partner, famously insisted that the first $100,000 is the hardest. Once you get that snowball rolling, momentum takes the wheel. But getting there requires more than just saving. It requires the right knowledge of what actually moves the needle. Traditional financial advice often fails you here because it focuses on the trivial while ignoring the transformative. They'll tell you to clip coupons while your housing costs consume 50% of your income. They'll push you into the stock market without explaining how taxes can silently erode your returns. They preach about emergency funds but ignore cash flow optimization, which could actually reduce the size of the safety net you need in the first place. The strategies I'm sharing today are not band-aid solutions. They aren't feel-good tips designed to make you feel productive while you stay stuck. These are fundamental tactics that shift your financial trajectory. Some will challenge conventional wisdom, and some will require you to rethink your entire relationship with money. But if you keep an open mind and execute, you will see that first six-figure milestone sooner than you ever imagined. I know what some of you are thinking. Ned, I'm starting from zero. I have student loans, credit card debt, and I'm barely keeping my head above water. I hear you. And you should know that these strategies are actually more powerful when you're in the early stages. Wealth building is a skill much like learning a language or an instrument. No one is born an expert, but with the right instruction and consistent practice, you can master it. The difference is that this specific skill buys you freedom, security, and options you've never had before. We are going to walk through 9 specific strategies to accelerate your path to $100,000. Each one has the potential to save or earn you thousands of dollars a year. When combined, they create a high-velocity system that slashes the time it takes to reach your goal. Some may sound obvious at first, but I can almost guarantee you aren't implementing them to their full potential. Others will surprise you by going against everything you've been told. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete roadmap for wealth building that most people never even consider. Let's lead with strategy number 9, tax optimization. No, we aren't talking about offshore accounts or writing off your Netflix bill. I'm talking about the legitimate government-incentivized frameworks that are designed to keep more money in your pocket. But for some reason, most people completely ignore them. Here's the reality. Taxes are likely your single largest expense, right up there with housing and transportation. Yet, the average person puts more thought into their morning coffee order than they do into minimizing their tax burden. It's like voluntarily paying a convenience fee on everything you buy simply because you didn't bother to use the coupon sitting right in front of you. The beauty of tax-advantaged accounts like traditional IRAs and 401ks is that they provide an immediate discount on every dollar you invest. When you contribute, you reduce your taxable income dollar for dollar. If you earn $50,000 and contribute $10,000 to your 401k, the IRS only sees $40,000. That is a guaranteed return on your money before your investments even have a chance to grow. Let's look at the math. If you're in the 22% tax bracket, every $1,000 you contribute to a traditional 401k saves you $220 in taxes. This means you only need to pull $780 from your actual take-home pay to make a full $1,000 investment. The government is essentially subsidizing your wealth building, yet most people are too busy complaining about their tax bill to take the handout. Strategy number 8 is one that literally hands you free money, yet millions leave it on the table every year. The employer 401k match. If you aren't maxing this out, you are essentially telling your boss you don't want a raise. Think about it. If your employer offers a 50% match up to 6% of your salary, they are giving you an immediate 50% return on your investment before the stock market even moves. If you earn $50,000 and contribute $3,000, your employer drops another $1,500 into your account. That is $1,500 of pure, frictionless profit just for participating. Show me another investment that guarantees a 50% return on day one, I'll wait. It's wild that people will spend hours researching a $50 discount on a new phone, but ignore thousands in matching funds because they think they can't afford to contribute. It's like turning down a winning lottery ticket because you're worried about the paperwork. Now let's move to strategy number 7. This is where the momentum really picks up. Creating additional income streams earmarked specifically for investing. Notice I didn't say get a second job or clock more overtime. There is a massive difference. Traditional advice tells you to live below your means, essentially making your life smaller to save more. But there is a far more powerful and enjoyable approach. Expand your means while keeping your lifestyle constant. Instead of trying to squeeze every last penny out of your current paycheck, focus on generating new capital that bypasses your checking account and goes straight toward your goals. This isn't about deprivation. You're not cutting back on the things you love. You are creating found money that was never part of your survival budget. It's like finding cash in the couch cushions, but instead of a few quarters, you're finding hundreds or thousands of dollars every month. Whether it's freelancing in your field of expertise or launching a side venture on the weekends, the secret is in the treatment of the cash. Your regular income handles your life. This extra income has one single solitary purpose. Its only job is building wealth. When you separate these two income sources mentally, one for living, one for growing, it becomes significantly easier to save aggressively without feeling like you're sacrificing your quality of life. Strategy number 6 will test your self-control, but it's non-negotiable if you want to maximize your velocity. Reinvest every single dividend. I know the rush of seeing that cash hit your account. It feels like your portfolio is paying you a salary for being smart. But the real power of dividends isn't the income you can spend today. It's the exponential growth created by putting those dollars back to work. When you reinvest, you're buying more dividend-paying assets, which generate even larger future payments, which buy even more shares. It's a self-sustaining snowball. To put this in perspective, over the last century, the S&P 500 averaged roughly 10.7% annual returns with dividends reinvested. If you had taken that cash out instead, your return would have plummeted to about 6.6%. That 4% gap might seem small, but over 30 years, it is the difference between a wealthy retirement and wondering if you can afford to retire at all. Every dividend is a choice, a fleeting purchase today or a wealth-generating asset for decades to come. Strategy number 5 is about keeping what is yours by minimizing investment fees. This may sound like a dry topic, but it's one of the most critical levers you can pull. Fees are a silent tax on your future because they compound against you. A seemingly tiny difference like a 1% fee versus a 0.1% fee can cannibalize hundreds of thousands of dollars from your final nest egg over 30 years. Fortunately, in today's market, you don't have to pay a premium for performance. An index fund tracking the S&P 500 is essentially a commodity. There is no reason to pay more for the exact same product. It's like choosing between two identical cars where one is $5,000 more expensive for no reason. When you're racing toward that first $100,000, every dollar saved on fees is a dollar that stays in your compounding engine. Strategy number 4 challenges the active investor myth. Stop trying to time the market. We are bombarded by financial news that makes it seem like successful investing is about jumping in and out at the perfect moment. That is complete nonsense. The reality is that timing the market is like trying to guess which elevator will arrive first in a crowded skyscraper. You might get lucky once, but over the long term, the house always wins. If you try to time the market, you will eventually end up frustrated and likely worse off than if you had simply pressed the buy button and waited patiently. The data is crystal clear. The average investor who attempts to time the market consistently underperforms the market itself by several percentage points annually. Think about the psychology at play. The market drops 10%, and suddenly you're convinced the sky is falling. You sell everything, feeling clever for limiting your losses. Then, the market recovers and surges 20% while you're still sitting on the sidelines in cash, waiting for the right time to get back in. By the time you feel safe, you've missed the bulk of the recovery. The math is brutal. Missing just the 10 best days in the stock market over a 30-year period can cut your final returns nearly in half. Ironically, those best days often follow the worst days, the moments when everyone else is panicking. When you're building your first $100,000, your job is simple. Contribute consistently and leave it alone. Let the market do what it does best, grow over time. Some years will be stellar, others will be lean, but if you keep feeding the machine, you will be amazed at what compound growth can accomplish. Strategy number 3 focuses on investment selection. This is where most people either overthink it to death or don't think about it at all. Both extremes are expensive mistakes. On one hand, you have the stock pickers who spend hours trying to find the next Amazon, only to end up with a portfolio that looks like they threw darts at a newspaper. On the other, you have people who follow water cooler tips from coworkers or leave their cash in a savings account earning next to nothing. When you're starting out, your goal isn't hitting home runs, it's solid, consistent growth. You aren't trying to get rich quick, you're trying to get rich for sure. The most effective tool for this is broad market index funds, specifically those tracking the S&P 500. This gives you a piece of the 500 largest, most successful companies in the country. You're owning Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Established businesses with proven track records of wealth creation. You don't need to be a financial genius, analyze price-to-earnings ratios, or predict the Federal Reserve's next move. You just buy into American business success and let capitalism do the heavy lifting. Strategy number 2 is perhaps the most important on this list because it separates the wealthy from those stuck on the financial hamster wheel, avoiding lifestyle inflation. This is the trap that sabotages more financial futures than poor investing ever could. The cycle is predictable. You start your career earning $40,000, living modestly because you have to. You get a promotion to $50,000, and instead of saving that extra $10,000, you decide you deserve a nicer apartment. Another raise to $60,000 leads to a nicer car. Before you know it, you're earning twice as much as when you started, but you're still living paycheck to paycheck. The wealthy understand that your lifestyle should be based on your long-term vision, not your current salary. Every raise is a fork in the road. You can inflate your lifestyle, or you can maintain your standard of living and invest the difference. The reality of lifestyle inflation is that it rarely leads to lasting happiness. Studies show that once your basic needs are met, additional spending has diminishing returns. That BMW upgrade feels great for a month, then it just becomes your car, while the payment prevents you from achieving real freedom. When you get your next raise, do this. Take at least half of that increase and automate it directly into an investment account. Don't even let it touch your checking account. Treat it like a wealth tax paid to your future self. You can still enjoy a portion of your success, but ensure your net worth is growing faster than your overhead. And now, for the big one. We have finally reached strategy number 1, the heavy hitter I've been teasing throughout this entire video. This single move can free up more capital in your budget than any other change, yet most people ignore it entirely. I'm talking about optimizing your housing costs. This might require you to make some decisions that fly in the face of conventional wisdom. Here's the brutal truth. If you are spending more than 30% of your income on housing, you are making it nearly impossible to build wealth quickly. For most people, housing is their largest financial leak. Between rent or mortgage payments, utilities, insurance, and maintenance, it's common for people to lose 40, 50, or even 60% of their monthly income just to stay indoors. At that point, you aren't working for yourself. You are working for your landlord or your bank. The interesting thing about housing is that it's often more flexible than people realize. We treat it like it's set in stone, but the amount of space you need or the specific neighborhood you must live in are often lifestyle choices rather than absolute necessities. I'm not suggesting you live under a bridge. I am suggesting you get creative and reduce this expense, at least temporarily, while you build your foundation. This could mean finding roommates, moving to a more affordable area, or exploring house hacking, buying a multi-unit property, living in one unit, and letting tenants pay your mortgage. The numbers are staggering. If you cut your monthly housing from $2,000 to $1,200, that's $800 a month injected into your investments, nearly $10,000 a year. Over 20 years at a 10% return, that one adjustment could add over $500,000 to your net worth. I know the pushback. I have a career, a family, and responsibilities. I understand. Not everyone can make a radical move. But if you are serious about wealth, you must explore the options. Even a 20% reduction in housing costs makes a massive difference over time. Remember, this isn't a life sentence of living like a college student. It's a strategic sacrifice for a few years to secure decades of financial freedom. Once your investments are covering your expenses, you can afford to live anywhere you want. These 9 strategies work best as a unified system. Each one amplifies the next. Tax optimization saves money to invest. Employer matching provides free capital. Income streams fuel the fire. Reinvested dividends maximize growth. Low fees keep more money working for you. Avoiding market timing prevents catastrophic errors. Proper selection ensures solid growth. Avoiding lifestyle inflation keeps your savings rate high. Housing optimization unlocks the most fuel for the entire machine. When you implement these consistently, hitting that first $100,000 stops being a distant dream and becomes an inevitable outcome. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about building automated systems that work even when life gets complicated. The first $100,000 is special because it's where momentum shifts. It's the point where building wealth stops feeling like pushing a boulder up a hill and starts feeling like riding a wave. The path to independence isn't complex, but it does require patience and the courage to make unconventional choices. Most people will continue to live paycheck to paycheck, hoping their situation magically improves. But you have the tools to write a different story. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Every dollar invested now is a gift to the person you'll be in 20 years. What kind of gift are you going to give? If this roadmap helped you, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll be sharing more strategies to help you claim the financial future you deserve. Until next time, keep building that wealth one smart decision at a time.